Hi guys, I'm gonna try this again. It seems like everything, the technology today is not letting me do what I gotta do. I just wanted to talk really quick about what happened to me when I was growing up. It's a subject that is very hard because a lot of people like to hide behind it and say it doesn't happen, which it does happen in family. I got sexually abused by a family member from the age of 11 to 14 years old. I was living in New Jersey with my family, and he came from Cuba. I think he was like 20 something years old. He was a lot older than me because I was only 11 and he was 20 something years old. It's very hard to deal with something like that, and now that I'm 48 years old, I still sometimes struggle with it because wondering why did it happen? Why did it happen to me? Why wasn't nobody there to protect me? And nobody watched my signs of what I was giving? Yes, I could have told my family, but like always, they would probably say I was a liar. I was everything name in the book, which it did happen when I was 17 years old. But it's a subject that everyone needs to speak about, needs to be aware about it. You know, if your children are showing signs that are not normal, you know, try to have an open communication with your kids. Try to speak up and ask them questions. You know, how their day was or this and that. You know, because you can't trust everybody, even if it's family. So please be aware that this does happen, and don't tell your kids that you don't believe them, because in the long run you're hurting them. Like, it still bothered me that nothing was ever done. He was never prosecuted. Nothing was done. My family still considered him family, and they kept talking to him after the fact. You know, it's something that he should have paid for what he did. Nothing was ever done. I could have spoken up, but I didn't. I didn't know it was normal. It was not normal, because I didn't know about sex. I didn't know anything about, because when back then in the 70s, that didn't consist of, that didn't happen. Didn't, you know, and your parents, you know, were totally different from what there is now. But you have to have an open communication with your kids so the kids can able to talk to you and come to you if something is going on with them. And it's in everything in life. You know, you want to make sure that your children have an open communication with you. It's also the same thing with anything else. So, like I said before, I was sexually abused since I was 11 years old, and it started in my home. He would always, when we had family gatherings, you know, because my mom always liked everybody to be at the house. You know, if they were, they were already, my sisters were already married, but they always came over to have dinner and all that stuff. So my mom always liked that. But he would always do his disappearing act and say, oh, I'm coming out, I'm going out. But it wasn't that. He would play it off that he was going out, and he wasn't. But I learned in the long run what he was doing. And I was plead with my mom to not to leave me alone, because we lived like on 3 stories house. So my mom's room was always on the top with my dad, and I was in the basement, because in New Jersey we had basement houses with basement. And my mom never cooked on the second floor. She always cooked on the bottom floor because she didn't want the house to smell with her food and all that stuff. So the basement she would always cook. And you know, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she was taking care of everything, making sure that everything was good with the house, making sure the bills were paid, all that stuff, while my dad worked. And my dad was a workaholic, so he was always working constantly, just making sure that we had everything that we needed. Because coming from Cuba, that's all you can do is work. You know, because you want to make sure your kids are not struggling and they have everything to have, not materialistic, but pretty much, yeah, materialistic in our family, because money, everything in our family was money. And that's why our family is the way it is, because it always comes down to money. You know, that's why I really don't care about money. I do want to have money just to provide for my family, but it destroys family, and it does. So when this was happening, he would always come back in and just have sex with me just because he could. And he would always tell me, your parents are not going to believe you, because you know how you are. You're always lying. You're always telling this. And it's not that I was lying. I was being an 11-year-old kid, having fun in school. Didn't like school at all. But it got worse during the years when this happened to me. I didn't like school even less because I didn't know what was going on with me and why this was happening to me. And I wish I did speak up because it would have not continued. And he would have been prosecuted for it. But when my parents found out at the age of... He tried one more time because my older sister moved to Florida. And I came on vacation and I said I wasn't going back. Because I wanted to get away from him, and because I learned getting older that wasn't normal. And it's not the right thing to do. Because I learned in time that it's not normal. But kids at the young age, they don't know. If it would have happened 6, 7 years old, it would have not known it was normal or not normal, in the sense of, why is this person having sex with me, or why is he doing this to me, and all that stuff. So, it's sad. It's messed up because I don't want to curse. But you have to understand, it does happen. Don't close your eyes and say, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in my family. It does happen. And when when you do find out, do not tell your kids they're liars. Don't call them every name in the book. Don't be understanding. Understand what they're going through, because they're victims. Like I am. I'm a victim, but I overcame. I'm not no victim anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, to bring awareness that it does happen. And I wish my parents would have prosecuted and make him pay for what he's doing, because my biggest scare is he might be doing it to other girls out there. He might be old right now, but you never know. He might have hurt other girls that didn't deserve this the same way I did it. So I know that when I stayed here living with my sister, he came on my 15th birthday. And he tried. But I defended myself. I told him that I know what he did was wrong. And I cursed at him. And I told him, get the F away from me, because you're not doing this anymore to me. And he was in his 30s, 35s or something like that. And he still tried. And I remember when I was 17, I got caught shoplifting. And when I got home, I was with my mom, which I should have not done it, but I was rebelling. I was mad. I was angry. I was angry at my mom. I was angry at my dad. I was angry at my sisters. I was angry at my brother. I was angry at everybody. Because I didn't understand why this had to happen to me. And it's always why. I never got an answer for that, of why this had to happen. Why I wasn't protected. Why I wasn't protected by my dad. But I know that when that happened, when I got caught shoplifting, I knew hell was going to come, because I knew my mom was mad, but I had to deal with another person that tends to not watch what she says, and that was my older sister. She tends to let go of a lot of things that is not correct. I love her, but sometimes her things that come out of her mouth is not correct. And she says I was a liar. I was looking for it. This and that. This doesn't happen in family. And it does happen in family. It does. And that was my biggest scare, is that I was going to get my ass kicked because of what happened and what I did. Because I was told I was an embarrassment to the family. Like always, I'm an embarrassment, and it's always something like that they have to tell me, because since I was born here and everybody else was born, I was also called I was a mistake, that I should have never been born. And that's hurtful. You know, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask for my mom to get pregnant, but I was also told I was a mistake. So I've always struggled in my life because I was always told I was a mistake, and then I get sexually abused. So that didn't sit well in my mind because I was always told I was a mistake. Not by my mom or my dad, it was by other people in my family, that I was a mistake and I should have never been born. And you see, that came up, I didn't remember that, but now it just came up by talking about all this. So, because sometimes you keep things in your subconscious and you don't, it triggers something to come out because you hold that hurt back there. And like my husband says, sometimes things come up, we might talk about something and I remember something that happened when I was growing up. You know, I had, you know, like my mom always gave me everything I wanted, but I learned growing up that I didn't get everything I wanted, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be independent because I saw what money does to people and how it changes people. And I didn't want to be told I was only using my dad for money. And I never did. You know, I was taking away a lot of things from me to give to everybody else. Because I know that if this video gets to my sisters, they're gonna probably get on my butt, but I'm already 48 years old. They can't hurt me anymore. And they can't tell me or judge me because, you know what? The only one that can judge me is God. And I know that God knows that I'm speaking the truth. And then sometimes some of them might say they don't remember it because they only remember certain things that they want to remember. But you have to understand, being a sexually abused person, it's not easy because you hold that hurt inside you and you always ask why. So if you try to not be understanding to your child or to whoever that has gone through this, you have to be understanding and listen in, because I was told I was looking for it and I didn't. And I remember that when I told my mom and my dad, you know, that this happened, well, I screamed it out at my sister because she really got on me and I just blurted it out. You know, they took me to therapy, which only one time, and she just made records of it and sent it to New Jersey to find him because he lived in New Jersey. And I remember my second oldest, you know, she might have her things, but she was more understanding than anybody else because she came to me and picked me up at work, that I worked at Echo Drugs, and she came and talked to me and told me, look, this is the situation. He denied everything, which that's typical of abusers. They will deny everything just because they don't want to go to jail. And he denied everything. And, you know, everybody, my older sister's husband wanted to go look for him in New Jersey. And my dad, being the way he was, he told him nobody's going to touch him. Just sweep it under the rug. Sweep it under the rug. Because they wanted to prosecute him. They want him to go to jail for what he did to me. But my dad said no. That the family, he didn't want people to talk because the family's going to find out and it's going to make us look bad as a family. Who cares about the image? Who gives a damn about image and what people are going to say? He didn't pay for what he did to me. And he never did. So, screw the image. Screw what anybody says. Because I never got the closure that I needed to know that this person got paid for what he did. And he never did. And my father didn't do anything to help me. They never apologized. And I remember getting home and the subject never came up. Nobody talked about it. Like living a normal life. Like nothing ever happened to me. And I remember when my mom passed away, he was there. And I remember that he was coming up to me like nothing, like, oh, hi Carrie, how you doing? And I remember, rest in peace, my sister-in-law. She stood in front of me and told him, get the F away from her. We know what you did to her. Get the F away from her. And she's always been there for me. Through the good and bad, she's always been there. I wish she was still here, but she passed on. And she gave me, even though she passed, she still gave me something that I will treasure, because she gave me life. Because I got one of her kidneys. And she was always helping everybody, always thinking about helping. I wish she was here, but she didn't have it, and she's watching over her daughter that she loved her so much. She would do everything for her daughter and for her family. But, seeing this person again wasn't easy. And the worst is seeing my family treating him like nothing, like he didn't do anything to me. That hurt. But it was the time that my mom was passing and I couldn't do anything. But my dad treated him like nothing. My sisters, one of my sisters, treated him like, hey, how you doing? And it's not easy to see that, because it's like I was reliving the hurt and the anger again. And I love my family, but sometimes they're not the biggest supporter. They're not supportive in a sense of being there for me through that rough time and not understanding what I went through. Yes, I should let it go, and I have. I have let it go, because if it wasn't for my husband that I have now, that he's my rock, my biggest supporter, he's always there when I need him, and never have left my side. And because I had another incident that the same way goes back to my older sister. She decided to start talking about his mom and everything else and his sisters. And I told her, I kept telling her, I don't care. Why are you telling me this? And she's like, she didn't click on that I honestly didn't care. I didn't want to hear anything about that family. I didn't want to hear about that person. I didn't care if he moved to Puerto Rico. I don't care, anything about him. And she kept on insisting that I should care, and I told her I don't care. Until I started screaming at her and told her, you have to understand, you forgot that he molested me. He took my virginity away at the age of 11 years old. Nobody deserves to molest a child at 11 years old. Nobody has that right. And I remember my husband took the phone away from me and told her, don't ever call again. Because it seems like you guys never supported her through this rough time. And you keep mentioning, because she was the one that told me that I was lying. That doesn't happen. And we're siblings. We're supposed to be each other's support system. Supposed to protect each other from anybody hurting us. Because that's one thing that my mom always taught us, that no matter what, if we fight, argue, we're always supposed to be there for each other. Because that's all we have. We lost our mom. We lost my mom 20 years ago. We just lost my dad 2 years ago. And we're 4 siblings and we don't get along. I don't want to argue with anybody, because you know what? Life is too freaking short to be arguing over stupid crap, and it always comes down to freaking money. And And my husband was the only one that came up to me that day and hugged me and told me, it's going to be okay. You don't have to hurt anymore. That was when I decided to let it go, because I found the person that was going to protect me. Because I did make wrong choices in life. I was married before. He was cool and dandy until other things happened that should have not happened. He was there when I needed him, but other issues that I don't want to talk about, but that's the past. We both moved on, and we both went our separate ways. But this is not, like I said, I'm 48 years old. I just turned 48 yesterday. I still hurt because, like, I raised my kids, my 3 girls, to love each other and to protect each other and always be there for each other, because that's all they have. And with my family, it wasn't the case. I didn't have that support. I didn't have anybody supporting me and being there saying it's going to be okay. I didn't get that support from my mom, which I know that she was following what my dad said. But my dad didn't support me. And I know that when I was living, I was like, my mom already passed away. And I tried to talk to him about it. Because my dad would come to me and talk to me about anything. Anything. And I never judged him. I was always there to help him talk if he had something going on. But when I tried to talk to him about it, to say, Dad, to try to see if he would react or tell me something, I didn't get anything. He just told me, I don't want to talk about it. Because he never realized that I'm his daughter. And his job was to protect me from the hurt. But he wasn't, and he didn't. And it sucks to see that I was damaged. And nobody ever helped to try to take that damage away from me. And as I do this video, I can say I'm not damaged anymore. I am not damaged. I am a human being that deserves to be loved, and I am loved by the most amazing husband and 3 beautiful daughters that love me and accept me for what I am and who I am and what I continue to be. But the only thing I can leave you with this is protect your kids, be there for your kids, and never abandon them, and love them for who they are. Even if they're damaged or not damaged. Because they didn't ask for this. Like I didn't ask to be sexually abused at the age of 11 years old to the age of 14. And nobody saw it and read the signs. Because you're not going to tell me that your kids are going to act normal after being abused. They're not going to act normal. They're going to rebel, and they're going to do everything possible to make you see for yourself and open your eyes. Because don't have blinders and say, oh, I can't see to the left, I can't see to the right. Open your eyes and take those blinders off, because it does happen. And it happened to the best families. It happened to the richest families. It happened in the poorest families. It happens. Because my family was well off. My dad worked to give us everything that we wanted. But money doesn't buy you happiness. It might give you the things that you want, but it doesn't buy you happiness. Because look what happened in my household. By a person that my mother decided to bring from Cuba here. And it does happen. So if you see any signs, anything, pay attention to your kids. Listen to your kids. Be their biggest cheerleader. Because I didn't get that. And even though I'm 48 years old, it's still in the back of my mind because I never was told I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this happening to you. That's what I think they should have done. And you know what? I would have had closure. And this, right now, as I'm doing this video, I'm getting closure. And I wish and I pray to God this doesn't happen to anyone in my family or to any more children, which I know it does happen. And I wish my siblings would be more understanding why sometimes I act the way I do. You know, I might take things, it takes a lot for me to explode. But I'm me. And like the same way I accept them for being the way they are, they have to accept me for the way I am. And they never went through what I went through growing up. Being sexually abused from the age of 11 years old to 14. And then tried one more time at the age of 15. And if it wasn't for my brother-in-law walking in to the sliding door because he was celebrating my 15th birthday, because he wasn't able to give me what he really wanted was to do a birthday, you know, big quinceañera, but he couldn't afford it. If it wasn't for him walking in, I would have been abused at the age of 15 again, on my birthday. So as I do this video, and if it gets to my sisters, honestly, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. Because I am speaking my truth, my story. They have their own story, like the same way I have my own story. And this is my truth. And hopefully they understand. Probably not. But you know what? My children know what happened to me. My husband knows what happened to me. And they love me for what I am and who I am. And if my siblings don't, hey, I was born by myself, and I was always told I was a mistake, that I should have never been born. So, like I leave you with this today, please protect your children. Take care of your children. Love them unconditionally. Accept them for what they are and who are they going to become. And don't judge them if they come to you that something's happening to them. It could be sexual abuse. It can be anything. Be there for them and listen to them without judging them and calling them names. Because you know what? In the long run, you are hurting them more than what you can imagine. Like I said, I'm 48 years old. And I'm still hurting for what happened to me. And that's why I'm still protective of my 3 daughters. Because I never want them to go through what I went through. So, I hope everybody has a blessed day. And if you think you want to share this story to anyone, and if you can't confide in anybody, find someone that's willing to listen to you. That goes for the children. Find, if you're getting hurt and nobody wants to listen to you, go to the police. Go find someone that will listen to you. Because there's help out there. Find help. Don't suffer by yourself. Talk to somebody. And if you want to send me a message or comment on the bottom, that's fine. But you need to talk to somebody. I wish I did. I wish I had someone to talk to. But I never did. I had someone to talk to at the age of 30-something years old. Because my husband was more understanding and didn't like the fact that my dad or my family was there for me. So I don't blame them for being mad at my family. And you know what? It happens in the best families. So I hope everybody understands and watches my story. And if you want to send me a message, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Or you can email me. This is the reason, this is one of my whys of why I'm doing the business that I'm doing with my daughter and my husband, because I'm tired of feeling worthless. Because there's so many things that have gone wrong in my life, and sometimes there's some of the decisions that I've made in my life due to being sexually abused, because I felt like I was not worth anything, because it hurts. And I'm not damaged anymore. I'm letting that go as I speak to you guys today. And I hope I can help at least one person or two or three that are suffering, and they're suffering by themselves because they don't have nobody to talk to. Because this is like a silent thing that people that are being abused, it's a silent killer. The silent, because they don't know how to get out, or they don't know how to get help. Find help. Find someone to talk to, because you'll need it. Don't wait till you're older. Talk about it now. Get the help you need now. You're always going to have it in your back of your mind, but you can get help, because you are the victim. You didn't ask to be a victim. But I'm not no victim anymore, because I let this go a long time ago. And since I'm doing this business that my daughter and I and my husband love to do, it's my story. It's not no one else's story to tell. This is my truth. And as I leave you today, you're responsible for your own story. Nobody can tell your story unless you do it yourself. Have a blessed day. Bye.